Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to, I believe it's part 3 of Put Up or Shut Up. More of a little bit of a progress report, just to let you guys know that over the last 3 weeks since I received my Shadows of Brimstone Kickstarter, I'm just going to see if you can see all that. That's what I've put together. And did a little zenithal highlighting and a little bit of painting, but it's still a little toasty here to do too much painting. And just last night I finished this off between Bloodworth's AD&D game and Gatekeepers. I managed to finish this Tredaran Mark II Scout Tank, I think it's called, and I magnetized the different guns. I made a little mistake in not taking into account the actual dimensions of the magnet, so this particular gun doesn't look quite right, but you know, you get the what they're going for. That's the mortar, and that's some sort of laser cannon, I think, but you know, and there's another gun, but it's just not going to work because of the belt fed mechanism or pipes or tubes or whatever that is. It's not going to work, so I'm just going to save that for the other model. But it turned out pretty nice. It's kind of dorky looking, not going to lie. The guns on the side are ridiculous. The little sponsons here are also kind of tiny. I did mount the flamethrowers permanently, and the thought of getting them to actually turn, wiggle a little, just between the glue and the paint, they're just too tiny to be able to get much movement out of them. As a matter of fact, this one just does not move at all. But for Shadows of Brimstone, let me take a little cultist over here. The scale is not bad. It's not like a super heavy tank, as per GW or anything like that. But I definitely wouldn't want to face it, as a normal dude. But it was fun. I liked it. It was pretty easy to put together. It's a game piece, not a model. But the details, they're there. There's all kinds of little details and gribblies and things like that. And the spotlight and the commander and all that stuff. I'm really happy with it. But that's what I was able to do in about 3 weeks, more or less. Since we unboxed the video. Mind you, I had an entire week hiatus because no freaking glue. But now that I've, started on this process, I still have another 150 or so minis to put together from this Kickstarter. But putting it all together, this tank actually reminded me of a valuable lesson I wanted to let you guys know. This and doing things like when you're doing multiples, let me see. Okay, for example, the first one you do, you'll learn from the mistakes you're gonna make. Invariably, you're gonna make some little small mistake putting together one of, say, many. Like this happy little accident here. I don't know if you can see. They're the same mini, but because of fate or what have you, when I glued him down, wrong. His foot is up in the air, which kind of gives him kind of a weird, dramatic little pose, and it definitely sets him apart from this one. But I learned while doing these models that the first one you do will teach you how to do the next ones better and faster. You'll learn where to cut, where to where the mold lines are, and where to file, and like that with gluing that one. I actually kind of really dig this goofy little pose now, just because it was totally unintentional, but it doesn't look that awful. Now you guys let me know. I mean, does he look like he's doing a hokey pokey, or maybe just trying to not step over a really large spider or something and get it up his robes? You guys know how I feel about robes. But when you're putting it all together, be mindful of what you're doing, so that when you do the next one and the next one and the next one, you can speed up the process and avoid the mistakes you're invariably going to make on the first one or two models, and learn from that, and so you can do it quicker, and so you don't make the same mistake twice, because there's very few things as annoying as making the same mistake twice. And the issue with the glue, running out of glue, things like that are going to happen. You're gonna have these little issues with life that are going to interrupt your flow, and learning from that kind of a mistake, buying the extra supplies like I talked about the other day, so that you don't run out and you don't have to go make a special trip to go get more glue or go get more paint or what have you. And keep these all in your toolbox, so that every time you do this hobbying, that you're learning and getting better at it, and so that when you're putting these things all together, that you spend more time doing what you actually want to do, whether it be the assembly. I know a lot of guys in the last video really chimed in how they prefer the assembly over the painting, which is kind of shocking for me, because that's exactly how I feel. I really do enjoy the assembly part. Maybe it's the Lego maniac in me. Maybe it's just the sense of accomplishment that when you put a model together, you pass or fail. You may get a couple of marks off you, like with the magnets. I should have only put one magnet here instead of two, and that one single extra magnet makes a big difference. And when the little guy puts one of these together, the next one, he'll be able to learn from my mistakes, because I'll help him go through the process and remind him, like, look, I made a mistake here, don't do that, don't do the other thing, and yours will turn out better than mine. And getting everything ready for the next step, which is actual painting, which these guys here, these shadow stalkers or whatever, I did two different versions with a blue and a purple speed paint, and I gave them a little bit more white dry brushing, because I'm then actually going to do a different color over the white. But not too bad. They're pretty cool models. I really like them. They look like a lot of other things, but in the Shadows of Brimstone lore, they're more or less unique to their world. The lore that encompasses the Shadows of Brimstone universe, and I'm really digging it. And I've got a lot more to do, but I'm going to get it all done until I'm done with the modeling. I can do some of the zenithal and the highlighting, and the primering, I should say, in this weather, because it's mostly rattle can, and I can do that in this heat. Trying to do regular painting, even using a wet palette, is just not. It's just too hot here. Everything dries up, and I don't really trust using a wet palette with speed paints, because it's just going to change them. By sucking in moisture into the paint where I might not want that. And when I start painting these, I want a clean slate to work with, in the way of knowing what the new Speed Paint 2.0 really look like for future reference, so that when I get to that process, I'll be able to go, oh, I want this color, not that color, because there could be a subtle difference, and by adding water, you might drastically change the overall look of the paint. But for the most part, I had a lot of fun doing this, and I hope you guys are gonna this Sunday show up in the live stream that I'm going to do later on in the evening, Sunday evening, to see what everybody got done in the course of a week. Challenging myself to get as much done by then. I've only got Thursday, Friday, Saturday to get a little bit more on my table before I show it off individually, to give you guys an idea. So far I've done about 36 models, and by then it'll be the better part of a month since I started. And if I only get one model assembled, here, let me show you, based and primered, one thing a day, that's not too bad. Then next month I will go into paint mode, and I'll probably be able to get more done in the way of Okay, this model is done, this model is done. And if you only get one a day, after a month, that's a pretty sizable army, including the tank, the raptor looking thing I showed you, and this big guy. If I get this guy done in one day, I'm calling that a win. I know people like DM James can get a lot more done than I can, but I've got other things I have to do in the day. Even though we're both retired, I do have kind of a lot of other things going on in the side, and I'll be sharing those things with you later on as they unfold. But in the meantime, let's go get some stuff done. Let's put some stuff together, put some paint on some plastic, and until next time, happy trails.